Hello out there, my friends. My name's Carpo, and I guess I would consider this kind of a public service announcement of sorts. I like to make videos about random subjects, but whenever I come across some information that I think could be helpful to people, I try to share it. And perhaps that's in vain, but, it's worth the effort. When I'm looking for something, information on something, I look to the internet. We all do. And sometimes YouTube, and looking for people who have their own personal experience about health issues can be very helpful. And so I want to make the disclaimer that no, I'm not a doctor, and of course I can't make any diagnosis about anything without being a legal doctor. And many of us feel that way because we're told that. Therefore we think that our opinions aren't valid. But I'll tell you how many times I've been to the doctor and they have basically just blown me off, or I've known more about my condition than they have. Well, this is very common, and these days there has been a surge in, in many diseases, but autism is a significant issue right now. They were saying 15 years ago it was like 1 in 100,000, and it's getting to be like 1 in 50. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. And we've tried to link the autism to vaccines, because vaccines are generally given around the same time autism is discovered. And for me it's been a major issue, because I have 3 kids, and my 2 youngest, one is 6 and one is 3, and back when he was born, the 6-year-old, we had to decide, are we going to get him vaccines with the information we have now, thinking that it may be dangerous. And I didn't want to get him vaccinated and risk a health issue, but I didn't want to not get him vaccinated, because I'd also done the research to see what the world would be like if we'd never had vaccines. And to be honest, there's a lot of deadly disease. I mean, we don't look at measles, mumps as any issue here in this country because it's not a serious problem because of vaccines. And in areas where there have been mumps and measles outbreaks, it can be very serious for the children who aren't vaccinated. And generally, what we have is called herd immunity. If enough people are immunized, then it generally keeps everyone else safe. So the kids that are unvaccinated are being kept from getting these diseases by the kids who are vaccinated. So I'm not on either side, just to make that point. I'm very much in the middle, and I'm still worried about it, but I did vaccinate my children. I made that decision. I spread those vaccines out over several trips rather than getting them all at once, because I figured I at least want to minimize the danger. So on to the point now, and the newest discoveries have been just amazing on this. I mentioned it a while back about bacteria and how they affect our mood. And neuroscientists they've been arguing with, people about, well, just to put it this way, the average citizen has a lot of information at their fingertips. And we can often make connections that anyone who even has a license, who is a doctor, might not be able to make on their own. And I've been interested in the bacteria in the gut because there's something like 1 trillion neurons, or billion neurons, whatever. I'll look at the information here and read some info, but in the gut, and the gut is actually, you might think of your gut as a brain, and there is a neural connection, and there's a it's called like the vagus nerve, I think, and it travels from the gut all the way up to the brain. And this is why when you have gut problems, it can cause neurologic problems. Well, there's no reason to think that having neurologic problems couldn't cause gut problems as well. You think of them as a linked system. Your gut's talking to your brain. It's not just that your brain's separate and it talks to your gut. Your gut is speaking to your body. And it's very amazing science, the idea that if we don't have bacteria, certain bacteria, then it can change our mood. They're finding that this is why people are taking probiotics now. Good bacteria can help us create dopamine, epinephrine, serotonin, basically our happiness chemicals, our existence chemicals, if you will, and that there's a larger connection than we realize. So where's the problem with autism, and is it within the vaccines? Well, there's a doctor recently he lost his license, and I've been trying to find who this was. I heard about it on a talk show, but he'd lost his license because he was a gut doctor, and somebody came to him with a child who had autism, and said, hey, I don't know what to do, and he said, look, I'm gut doctor, I don't deal with neurologic. And she said, all the descriptions of these gut problems you're talking about, these are all the things my son has. And so he did a colonoscopy and definitely found a connection between gut flora and autism, because he got better apparently after that, briefly. So what they're finding is that these gut conditions can cause brain conditions, and the rise in autism may very well be linked directly to these bacteria in our gut. And so I just wanted to say, there's nothing I can really say that's going to get any information. I'll try to post a link to some information in the description box. But I just wanted to put this out there for anyone who has a child right now that they're considering vaccinating, or that's just at the age where they're susceptible, to say, you know, you're going to decide whatever you want to for your children, whether you vaccinate or not vaccinate. But when it comes down to antibacterial soaps, or giving your child any type of antibiotics for maybe an infection or something, just be very wary about that, and know that, you know, that early damage or that early exposure can cause damage, possibly. And as well, it may have something to do with the mother who gives birth to the child. So many kids are born from C-section. Now they're actually swabbing on vaginal fluid onto the baby. They have these programs going on where they believe that the baby builds his immunity to the world through the mother's, as the secretions from the vagina, yes, haha, laugh it out, as the baby's being born, that it coats him with like a slime that helps him, it soaks in or whatnot, helps his skin and his body to learn to fight off infections. And so we're finding out all this fascinating stuff about how bacteria play a role in who we are. So if you have a kid with autism, you may be interested in this, and it may be very useful for somebody to do a little bit of research on gut bacteria and see what you can find. So that's all I got. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and